Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Good middle of the night, possibly, to all of our listeners of The Companion to the Companion. Welcome, Ian. Welcome, everyone else, to episode 38.
Hola.
38 of our wonderful show here, where we are going through the Companion to the Companions, second edition's top 100 shows of all time in chronological order. And tonight we find ourselves at what many consider, what I might consider, to be in the very cream of the crop, top of the top, best ever. It is 12/31/95 at Madison Square Garden. Ian, hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Sam. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to be here for each other. 38 doesn't sound like a particularly exciting episode, but this is a pretty exciting show. I'm trying to talk in a really calm voice, but perhaps you can hear the excitement underneath it.
Yeah, if I'm listening to this podcast when we're done with all of our episodes, I think this is one I'd go to right away, because I think this show is what makes the band in many ways. Very, very special show. And it just so happened to be my 6th show seeing the band. And it's my first on this list of 100. There's only a few that I saw that are on the list, but this being one of them is special. I think when I talk to Phish fans and I tell them shows I was at, I kind of hold on to this one, and then, oh yeah, I was there. And I think a lot of 1.0 fans, they feel it. They get that it was important. And I know you and I have talked at length about it. So
yeah, you'd have to be.
It was a special night.
Yeah, just to put it in perspective, I brag that I had a friend that was there. My friends were at New Year's 95. That's my brag, and it works. So yeah, I'm sure yours works too.
Yeah. Yeah, I still, maybe I'll put it as the photo when we post this, but I still have my ticket stub. It's blue. It was a mail order. And we were little kids. I was 19. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And we mail ordered for, I think it was the 30th and 31st, maybe just the 31st. I can't remember. We had discussed trying to gather a couple of the people I went with. One I'm married to, and the other one you and I are still very close to and just saw a show in Vegas with. And they were both there. We were the trio that went to the show together when we were all 19 and had a pretty incredible experience beginning to end. And I don't know. I feel like Ryan may have had an extra. I think we traded an extra out in the street for some, some things. Uh-huh. And I'm pretty sure that it was because he had an extra for this night because we had all mail ordered. So
gotcha.
I'm trying to remember. Maybe he had a few extras.
Perhaps he can come on the show and we can find out some details.
Perhaps. It was the story itself. The story of the night for me. It's a weird show because in retrospect, I've listened to this show 500 times, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 100 is more conservative, correct? And
right.
You and I talked, we didn't take notes. This is the first time I haven't taken notes.
Right. But I will say, I did listen to the show, all the way through, and I even listened to some of the jams multiple times. And every time, they get me every time. I'd like to start this podcast out by just saying I had been not an active Twitter user, but on Twitter for a while. I'm still lurking in the background, but it's a very frustrating site. But I like to hear people talk about Phish recommendations, especially some of the newer fans. So I went on to Reddit, and so I'm on the Reddit Phish thread, and different things coming up. But I like what I'm seeing. I'm loving all these new Phish fans. There are so many young kids that are like, oh, I've just started checking it out, and I heard New Year's 95 is a good show. I always feel like like I get so excited for them. I'm like, oh, they're about to listen to New Year's 95. But a question that I've heard posed on there several times is, what is Phish's Cornell? And New Year's 95 is the first thing that comes up for a lot of fans. Seems like a silly question, but I feel like it's one that probably most Phish and Dead fans ask themselves. Sam, have you put any thought into such a thing?
See, I would think this is more Phish's Europe 72.
Okay.
And I would say...
but that wouldn't be a live one. A live one is not Phish's Europe 72.
No, I would think this is Phish's Europe 72.
Okay.
And I mean, you could pick a Europe 72 show. And I would say that Cornell is much more of a fall 97 kind of vibe for me.
Okay.
But maybe it's the 77-97 comparison.
Right.
I'm not sure. But Cornell kind of has like a groovy swagger, whereas Europe 72 is much more like just ripping, rocking, especially Jerry. And I think this show is, the entire band is on point. Mm-hmm. But there's, nary a wrong note played for the majority of the show. And I think it's much more akin to that tour. Maybe more cocaine, less opiates, I guess. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's go-to. It's go-to stuff. And we will go through the show and we'll talk about it. And, the audience recordings were fine. I had a bootleg video I bought at a head shop of this from a single Steadicam. It was officially released finally in 2005 and sounded great. I currently am sitting next to the vinyl copy that I own of this.
Right.
The limited vinyl release. Like, this is the show. And Phish knows and they care. And, we've talked a lot how Phish peaks on the night before the night. Mm-hmm. And this was Phish peaking on the night of the night. Right. This whole run, all 4 nights. I mean, we were discussing previous show on this run. This was the night. It all came together. And I, in this re-listen, before we get going, the first set is it's okay. There's some moments, but it's good.
Right.
But what stands alone for me about a New Year's show is this set 2 and 3 are 2 of the best sets the band has ever played. Especially set 3 is like in the running for the greatest set of Phish of all time. Yes. I don't know, give me a set you think is better and I'll argue. You might be right, but I don't know that there's a better set of Phish music ever played for both improvisation, tightness, emotion, doing all the things. And, Frankenstein to close and Johnny Be Good to encore was, you look at that on paper and you're like, oh, okay, they're just kind of taking a lap. But no, it is triumphant. So, good stuff.
It is. It's really great stuff. I do think the recording that they have released as an official release is tremendous sounding. I think it's one of the best official releases, at least to my ears. Certainly for any show up to this point, it's the fullest. I think, I love early Phish, but when I think about kind of playing earlier Phish to other people, in terms of the recordings, it's a little bit flat. It's a little bit thin. You kind of have to have been to a show to imagine the fullness or, to put it all together in your head. But I think the recording of the show that they released, which is a combination of soundboard and audience, it sounds like, right? It's very full and it's just amazing sounding. I think it sounds better even than a live one. A live one does sound good, but I think this is better for the era.
Yeah, the kick drum and bass, but before Mike switched over to modulus basses and was just playing the Languedoc bass, there were times the kick drum and the bass really kind of muddied each other up a lot, or Page had a hard time. Sometimes his different keyboards, his piano versus his synthesizers versus his Rhodes or his Hammond, they'll kind of be at different levels in certain, his piano will get buried. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to hear, I notice on some recordings. But they gave this the treatment too. Someone spent a lot of time remastering. Maybe Kevorkian, because he's doing a lot of it. But remastering every little fine-toothed comb. It was. I see it as paleontology, where they're there with the little brushes exposing the dinosaur bones till they have the skeleton. And someone did that with this. It sounds gorgeous. I agree.
Yeah, and I think musically you're spot on in terms of how it compares with Cornell, or what would compare with Cornell for the show. But I do feel like perhaps you would say anthropologically, when somebody looks into the band, they look into the Grateful Dead or they look into Phish, it's gonna be, these are the shows. Go listen to Cornell. Go listen to New Year's 95. That happened. With, whether the fans like it or not, it happened, right? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that you can deny reality in that way. Those are people can say that Big Cypress is a better show. I will say that. But it's not an official release, and it's just too long. It's just too big.
It's too much.
So in the end, this is gonna be the point in. So I'm really glad that they took the time to make it sound as pristine and beautiful, and to show it the detailed appreciation that the band showed the performance. You know, when we got to watch it. Granted, I want to say I watched Sam's videos of the show so many times.
I thought Dinner and a Movie was going to be way better. Yeah. It was just kind of those videos. I was like, guys, I paid $19.99 at like this head shop for these a lot of years ago. What's going on?
Oh man, we wore that.
No one did any better videography.
Right.
No backstage.
But it is something to watch them perform, you know. And again, when we watched Dinner and a Movie, to watch like how still and focused. And just like you can feel their body, you know, language, and you can feel the energy, and you can feel how committed they are to these performances. We watched a whole bunch of Dinner and a Movies, and their body language and all the shows are very different. And in this show, they're fucking playing to win. Like this is the championship.
It's karate. Yeah. And they did not care so much about fashion. You can also take that into account at this time. You know, it's pretty sloppy, and you just see these four random. I mean, think about being security there. You're doing sporting events. You're doing the biggest artists on the planet, and then these guys come up and they're friendly and goofy, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" And then they just destroy. I mean, we'll get into being there, and so I guess we've talked a lot of avenues. And like we said before, we may have some guests in to discuss the day and a half, I guess, of the show for me. Mm-hmm. But I would like to do a little lead in on where I was and how I got to the show before we get to set one. Yeah. It just helps frame it for me. So if I'm long-winded, interject, please.
So,
and I will try and be brief. But I was a freshman in college. I had just met our friend Ryan, 19 years old. We had seen some Phish shows without each other that fall. We were at the same shows, but with different people. Never really seen a show together, but we became very fast friends in the dorms together. My family lived in New Hampshire, so I was flying home for winter break and was going to be home. And the girl I was dating in high school was also going to be home, and we were not dating, not dating. It was before we officially were not dating. And so I decided we should go to New York City and see Phish. And Ryan, our friend, said, yes, I want to do that. And he was going to buy plane tickets and fly out. I think I picked him up in Manchester or Boston, can't remember. And he stayed at my house for a few days. And we met my then ex-girlfriend, my now wife. And she had some weird blue Ford. It looked like a nicer than a Pinto, but kind of like a Pinto. Because her dad's always fixing random cars. And we drove all the way to, we had to get a hotel room. We had no idea what we were doing. So we got one in Stamford, Connecticut. Any listeners that have been to Stamford, shout out. Not the nicest place. And this is 30 years almost ago, 29 years ago. So give me some slack on details. So we arrived, we checked in, and then we took the train from Stamford into Penn Station. So we took the non-commuter. We took the fast train in. So we got in, we had a little bit of time. I don't ever remember eating any food. And like I said, we had some extra tickets to get rid of. So we traded them for some psychedelics. We had some pot with us. We took some psychedelics before the show began. And I remember the cattle call of getting into MSG is kind of a mess. A lot of details I'm leaving out here, but suffice to say we got inside and we were pretty far up. We were in the top section, but near the front of the top section. If you're looking at the stage, we were stage right, pretty far back. I'd say 3/4 of the way back up near the top. But it didn't matter. The sound was great. Phish, like the first song, was always up and down, but by the end of the first song, Languedoc has it dialed. And it was a wild experience. So we were kind of in an out there headspace when the lights went down. I also believe I remember I've been to a number of shows at Madison Square Garden. This was the first one we had to buy waters inside. And we were shocked at both their petite size and their outsized expense. So that's kind of where we were in set one. We were these kids with no idea what we were doing, scared kind of to be in New York City, downtown, but we just had taken the train in. And we did walk around the block, like Phish heads everywhere. And we were little kids. You know, I look at 19-year-olds now and I'm like, man, you are a small child. And guess I'm proud of the three of us for achieving our goals, for getting to Madison Square Garden, for having tickets in our hands, and for getting to our seats that night. And it set the stage for set one. So that's where we were.
I'm proud of you. Let me ask you this. Now, I met you and Ryan in 97, and by then, I mean, you were well-established looks. I mean, full patchy pants, long hair. Sam looked a bit like Jesus, I'd say.
Well, white Jesus. Yeah. I mean, I'm slightly more of a fan of black Jesus, but it was
old school white Jesus, American white Jesus.
Yeah, old school, scraggly white Jesus.
My bad. But yeah, I mean, like, did you guys look like that then? Because I feel like there was something about that look in the 90s where people were just like, oh, they just leave them alone. They've got their own subculture. Or
I would say I was almost there. I was almost like where I would wear a skirt and patchwork pants and it'd be really sloppy. So I'm guessing, had a giant hemp necklace, a ponytail, some sort of facial hair, but not scratch. I mean, it was thin then. Like it hadn't quite, 19, you're kind of there. I probably was wearing huge baggy pants that were lower than they should be, probably like extra large.
Yeah.
I wasn't a Janko jeans guy in the 90s, but they were pretty big pants and probably a lot shirt.
I mean, maybe I had my glide shirt on. All pants were big in the 90s. All of them. Even normal pants, still big.
And I probably, because I was scared, and it was winter, was wearing shoes, which is rare for me.
Right.
But I probably had on some sneaks. I don't know, Sanooks, didn't I? Vans, like maybe that kind of vibe? I'm not sure.
Sure, I was into Simples back in...
Yeah, Simples too. Maybe I had Sambas too, because I wore Sambas for a long time at that point.
No airwalks, though.
Who knows?
Yeah, no, I've never been to Madison Square Garden, and I've just heard you guys tell stories about it, and other people tell stories about it, and it does sound like quite an experience. Like, just getting there in and of itself is kind of half the deal.
It's crazy, because most places you go see Phish is the thing, and we just went to Vegas.
Yeah.
You saw heads everywhere.
Right.
When you see Phish in New York City, no one gives a shit. It's New York. Whatever's happening at MSG is whatever. Every night something's going on. No one cares. They're just businessmen pushing their way around you like these fucking hippies. Get out of my way.
Right.
It's amazing. My brother lives there and has for like 15 years now. So I've been enough times to feel comfortable in New York-ish.
Right.
But it's a big, big place, and it's just happening. There's an energy there that's huge, and this night we were very tapped into that energy, both cosmically and what was right in front of us. And Madison Square Garden, for those that don't know, is a marvel of engineering and architecture, in that it exists above street level, and it is a floating arena. So it actually floats on, huge. I'd love to have. Maybe I'll get my brother on. He's an architect. And but it basically, when everyone moves, the arena moves. It's designed to withstand, I wouldn't say terrorist attacks, probably too soon, but I will say that it's designed to withstand small earthquakes or, things happening. And so when you dance, when everyone's in unison, the whole place moves. And it feels like a spaceship in that the ceiling comes down to a point. It's a gorgeous place for 20,000 seats. It's really, really beautiful. And the sound is dialed. I mean, Phish has played there so much now. And this was, only, their third show. Mm-hmm. So they were still getting the hang of it. But man, I remember it sounding immaculate where we were.
Third show, but first on New Year's Eve, where literally the center of the celebration, certainly for the Western world is happening right outside. And that's like a trip to think about, that's like all those people are outside and you're just inside this venue in your own little, you're in Gamehenge in your own little world. That's so cool.
But you have to go outside, and it smacked us in the face real, real, real hard later. So the post-show experience of getting home was not quite as rosy as the experience getting there, and we will have that discussion as well.
Sure, but it builds character.
Let's stay preset one. Yeah, I got a lot of hair on my chest. They're getting all gray now, maybe prematurely, partially because of this night. I don't know. But as I stated briefly earlier, great first set, but also this listen, with critical ears, there's some shaky moments.
Sure.
Punch You in the Eye is a great opener. There's some little things happening.
Right.
And I'm a giant sloth guy. And this was still... Let me premise this in that, like I said, my 6th Phish show, but it was different then with Phish. Like my first one was a couple years before, but binging Phish was different when you had to like beg and plead for tapes.
Sure.
So there was still a good amount of Phish I didn't know or understand. And there was certain parts of this show that I probably should have, in the moment, kind of taken more stock of the importance of the moment and the impressiveness of the moment that comes with age, that comes with maturity. I think when we just saw Phish a couple months ago, those moments laid on me heavily, and I felt them in the moment. I think at this show, there were moments I was very high.
Yeah.
And I was not quite astute with my skills as both a concert goer and as a Phish fan to know some of the specialness that occurred.
Sure. And
I did feel the energy.
You're young.
But in retrospect, I at other shows was more prepared for what was about to happen to me than I was this night.
Right.
So it caught me a little off guard. And there were a couple moments I was wigging out a little bit.
Right.
But this first set was not one of them. This first set, well, there's one. But Punch You in the Eye Sloth, great. This was my first Sloth, and God, I'm a fan.
Yeah, the Sloth is great. I'm on board with everything you said so far.
And Madison Square Garden, like getting that giant metal, like the rock riff in the middle of Sloth is, it hits hard, and it was great, and you could feel the rock energy coming off the band. And then the first of 5 headphones from this show in the book, which I think, if we're not counting like a tweezer, blah, 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 tweezer being 3 headphones, I think this is the most headphones of any show we've done. Standalone 5 songs, entirely different songs, receiving a must listen from the people who wrote this book. So, brava. That's wonderful. And this Reba.
Yeah.
I remember the moment loving it.
Uh-huh.
Every single time I listen to it, I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like every note of it's burned in my brain, probably as it is yours.
Right.
Is it the best Reba ever? I don't think so.
Not to me. And well, here's the deal, is that you guys sold it originally as this is the best Reba ever. And then I listened to it and I was like, oh, there's a couple of flubs, like in the compose section. Mm-hmm. But I do think the jam, I feel like once they get to the jam, it's remarkable. It's a remarkable performance. And I do remember this kind of funny moment when it was with dinner and a movie. And I was kind of like forcing a watch over at my mother-in-law's house. and the kids and her were like kind of paying attention, and they started Reba, and they were kind of like bouncing along with the lyrics, and then the jam started, and Karen, my mother-in-law, was like, oh, this is pretty, like, this is nice. And then it just like kind of kept getting out there, and I could like feel her energy changing, you know, like silently as the jam got on. And then when it was finally over, I think she just like looked over and was just like, that was something, you know, like, you know, she tried to be nice about it, but it definitely does build to quite a something.
Yeah, it's the real mind melting, finishing each other's lines at the beginning is so delicate and so beautiful, but then it does build to those sheets of sound that become a lot of Phish's tension release later. And this one doesn't finish. It does finish, but it doesn't have the whistling, and it kind of it doesn't have a classic Reba peak. Mm-hmm. I find it to be very unique in how it peaks and then ebbs out of it. And I think their choice not to do the whistling was really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And we were all surprised. We were all like waiting for the whistling. And then it hits the beginning of Squirming Coil.
Okay, so this was kind of the beginning of the era of leaving the whistling behind.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was 95 was fledgling internet and hard to listen to Phish. So the Rebas I had heard it all had a whistling ending.
Right.
So it was... And, my sixth show, this was still, I was seeing songs for the first, second, third time ever. Still learning them, still figuring parts out. Right. Sometimes at this show, the first time I'd ever heard some songs.
Yeah.
And the coil's great. There's moments in the show that I kind of vaguely don't remember. And I remember in Squirming Coil, Trey's guitar just drops out during the compose section at a point. And re-listening this time, it always like hits me. And it's weird there were a couple technical difficulties at this show, and that was one of them. It was very strange. But I really do love the jam out of it. It was really nice.
Beautiful.
I remember the band just kind of hanging out on stage while Paige was playing, sitting around, chilling.
Just in case anybody listening is curious, that's when we won Karen back, was the Squirming Coil. She was back in. We got her. We alienated her a little bit with the Reba, but she appreciated the piano.
But then the maze threw her right out the window.
She just left the room. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just strange. I would like to exit this maze. Stage left, please. For me, in re-listening, this maze is where the band clicked. Yeah. I thought it was. I mean, fuck to see Phish between 91 and 96, 95, 96 play an indoor maze. I can I time travel and go see that again? The energy is so insane, and it's just hammering power. And this one was no exception. It was great.
I mean, when you think of the maze,
in a big room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you think of maze, what's better than a large indoor sold out room full of hyper excited people on a big night? Just that energy and the maze swirling around the room. That's what it's all about.
And being up high with the black and white and the white spots just moving around everywhere. Like you're visually from where we were, it was a stunning thing to watch. It was great. Great. And a perfectly played maze. And then, I don't know, talk Forbin's Mockingbird, because this was one of the moments in the show where I was excited. We're Forbin's Mockingbird fans. I was excited about it. The Shine hurt. I don't know. There's certain gags Phish does where if you're like a little stoned or like having some drinks and you're partying, they're like, this gag's funny. I was just standing there. I think, and we'll have this discussion with Ryan on this episode potentially. I remember looking at him and saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck is happening right now?" Like I was very high and very uncomfortable, and knew this song and did not want this song. It was a lot. So I don't know. What's your take?
Well, I always thought that was just hilarious. And I could totally see how that would happen, where you would just be like, wait, is our favorite band listening to Collective Soul right now? That you just kind of like misinterpreted the joke. And I guarantee you weren't the only one. But it's very humorous.
I understood what they were saying.
Yeah.
And I was kind of excited. I didn't, know who Tom Marshall was.
Right.
And he's walking out on stage and like, I don't know this man. And also, if I don't want to starfuck here, but like cutting to 98, I don't remember which night. I saw the 498 New Year's run, the 4-night run at MSG.
Right.
And one of those nights we got on the train beneath Penn Station to head out to Brooklyn, and Tom Marshall got on right next to us and was standing there, and we were all looking at each other like, oh shit. Right. And we talked to him and said hi, and he was very tall and very friendly. And at first a little like, oh, fuck, I got to fucking talk to these guys and I'm stuck on the train. But we were cool. We just said thank you and we're friendly. And then we just kept to ourselves. I think he gave a little smile, like, he's like, cool, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Yeah. I'm just trying to live my life. But cut back, 3 years earlier, where we were like, I was like, who the fuck is this guy, and why am I listening to this song?
Right.
But in retrospect now, it makes me laugh every time, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like musically satisfying or anything, but I do think it fits well. I do think that it's a big part of their tradition to be a little bit funny on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And this is their moment to be a little bit funny. Is it the funniest thing they've done? Far from it, but it's charming. It's fine. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's certainly not a highlight of the show for me. But
it's okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Did it cheapen the Forbin's Mockingbird for you at all?
Did it cheapen the Forbin's Mockingbird? Sure, a little, I guess. Yeah, that's fair. Because, I guess Forbin's Mockingbird does have a sort of like magic to it where you do feel like you're being brought into Gamehenge, and I think that is not happening here. I think what happens is you're brought into the real world, and you're like, oh, this is the reality of my 1995, and that's why you, and perhaps Ryan, as we'll find out, didn't like it. Because you're like, I don't want to be brought into reality. I want to go to Gamehenge. I want to show me the 8 beats per second. Show me, whatever
that string of music through the cosmos, and there was. We will discuss with him, but I think he might have been handling himself slightly better than me at this point. So okay. I think we all made it
with rose-colored glasses. I'm sure he sees it. We'll find out.
And then let's bounce our way out of the set.
Okay.
Sparkle Chalk Dust Torture, huh?
Yeah, I'm a Sparkle guy. Love it. Fine. Yep.
It was good.
Yeah.
I re-listen every time. It was fun.
And I thought that
Chalk Dust also. Great.
Yeah. Great high energy way to end the set. Get your jimmies out before you have to make it through your first set break.
Yeah. But looking at this on paper and re-listening, if the next 2 sets weren't what they were, there's nothing to write home about here. Like re-listen value for me, I love to listen to tight composed Phish songs, but I've heard, as good, if not better versions of all these. I thought the Reba is definitely a re-listen. I appreciate the headphone.
Yeah.
I think it deserves the re-listen. I'd get after that any day of the week. That's fine. But
yeah.
This is a weird listen
too.
for me.
I think the Reba coil is a nice, I think that's a nice grouping. I wouldn't want to, stop it in the middle.
It's an odd placement for coil too. I appreciate that.
I always love coil. Yeah.
Yeah, like mid first set, kind of band taking a breather and letting Page shine. I think that's why there was an extended full band jam outro, because of the placement, which was cool.
That Gorge opener from '98, I love that coil show opener, and it has a nice, beautiful jam on it. And by the time it's over, you just feel like, oh, I just received a massage. Now I'm ready for my Phish show.
Yeah, that was a massage. I remember. And then I don't know whose idea. Well, no, I believe it to be Ryan's idea. He may differ. He thought, this is a 3-set show. We're going to be up late. We should take another hit now during this set break. Because we were kind of already pretty there. But it's like, we should take another now so that we're there for New Year's too.
Right. Or for the subway ride home.
It ended up being for the subway ride home, yes, sir. But I thought, I don't need to get into too much personal anecdotal things here. My kids might listen, but I definitely agreed and said sure. So yeah. I don't regret it, but it definitely changed the mood of the rest of the night.
Uh-huh.
You were both ascending here, leveling, and then there was a second ascending coming over here, and it was a lot. It was just a lot.
Right. Sounds like it worked out okay, though.
I'm here right now. Yeah.
Well, historically,
in an alternate timeline, maybe not.
I think historically that's a bad decision, as we know.
Uh-huh. Yes. But we didn't know any better then.
And it was a long
when
show.
When are we going to be here again? Let's go big.
Right. Depending on who the chemist was, maybe you did make the right decision. Who knows in retrospect?
It was some guy on the street that we got, we were definitely in uncharted waters.
That was a different time. It was a different time.
It was, and I trusted people on the street a little more than I do now. But When you're 19, you trust everybody.
That's unfortunately true. Well, we're at set break. How did set break go? Did you guys walk around the venue at all?
I didn't move the whole night.
Yeah.
I stayed right in my seats. I remembered at this point, these people around us were already like fired up. We had some really cool people around us who were like, are you fucking watching this? This is the greatest thing ever. We had some really good Phish people around us. And I don't know, because I feel like I've seen it a number of times. And I'm pretty sure the Great Went or Lemon Wheel, it happened as well. But I think Fishman got a full shave during this set break.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right.
I'm quite certain he came out and they brought a barber's chair out and they brought a barber and they gave him a nice, full, clean shave.
Right.
Because he's baby New Year's later, so he has to have the perfect shave.
Gotta be clean.
So I remember that happening. Was there a chess move? Maybe chess? No, chess was over.
Yeah.
So that's all I remember about set break was It took way longer than it should, and we were all kind of biting our nails. We decided to do more, and Fishman got a shave, which was funny, but nothing big. And then the lights went down and Drowned.
Yeah, so you're coming in hot with Drowned. You're not a big Who fan. Do you even know this is a Who song at this point? Had you heard Quadrophenia
I knew
yet?
Drowned.
Yeah.
I knew Drowned, but I did not know Sea and Sand.
Okay.
Which is funny because Sea and Sand has been played by this band 3 times. I've seen 2 of those 3.
Really?
So, yeah, Ventura, baby.
They've only played Sea and Sand 3 times?
Thrice.
Wow. Crazy.
Thrice. And I've been to 2.
Yeah.
It was Halloween, it was this night, and then it was Ventura.
Wow.
And this one caught me off guard. Ventura, I was very well versed and was very excited for the location on the beach and such.
Right.
But yeah, Drowned, I did know.
Uh-huh.
I knew it enough to know this was the Who. And I'm pretty sure we had listened to the Halloween show, and that's where I knew it from. Because I was not a big Who fan.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know I'd heard Quadrophenia in my life, but this would have stuck out to me more than Sea and Sand would have stuck out to me as a teenager.
Did you like it?
And I loved Mike singing. You know, as a bass player, I was a fledgling just learning how to play bass. Like, I knew 6 notes and was trying to figure my way around a bass. And so Mike was kind of my hero still. And hearing him sing lead was awesome. He does a great job. I love the way he sings this song. And it got into the jam and it propulsive and fun. And then, holy shit. Like, this was the improv I was waiting for.
Right.
And it was overwhelming. I remember this was the moment that I finally was able to shut the world off.
Right.
The whole show up to this point, I was not able to. I think in the Reba, maybe. The Reba, I was soaring a little bit.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Coil a little bit. But this Drowned was where it all happened for me. It was incredible. And in re-listen, also incredible.
Yeah. But it's a very like high energy 95 jam. Like, doesn't go far out or anything, but just like really lays in thick to the
the propulsion too.
And it's propulsion. There's the word I'm looking for.
An MVP of the night is hard to decide on this night, but it might be Johnny B. Fishman again. Like, they all own this jam, but he is channeling Mooney and like just soaring through these huge fills, and it's wonderful. I feel like listening to it right now. We can just pause and go listen to it and come back. But that's what it's like, and I love how the book says the wording exactly, and we've discussed this on this podcast. Fire on the Mountain. No, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Drowned may is in italics. Have included a Fire on the Mountain tease because it doesn't. It does not.
Right.
Is my stance, and I think yours, but someone thinks it did. In the moment, I didn't think it did, and in re-listen, I also did not think it did.
I mean, what are we talking about? Okay. Dun 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 dun, or are we talking about dun 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 dun? Like it's just like it's very general.
It's not even close.
Yeah,
it's not even close. It's got to be a couple.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's got to play the two. It's two goddamn chords, but it needs to accentuate the chords in a way that would tip the hat to Fire on the Mountain. Right. There's so many like people need to write these teases out. Like I just don't get it at some point. But that's okay. Drowned was amazing nonetheless, and segued into possibly my favorite Lizards of all time.
Yeah, amazing.
The placement, like bold. Song 2, set 2, like on New Year's Eve.
Right.
And you forget, I always forget, and we've discussed this, how big that song is.
Yeah. And an incredible
the most majestic. Yeah, the coda at the end it's all composed.
Yeah.
Possibly the most majestic thing that the band's ever written.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Lizards, and I can't commit to a best version because I've done this before and listened to a bunch of Lizards to be like, what's my favorite Lizards? And I just like there's such consistency with that song. They're not all perfect.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many great ones, and this is a top-notch version.
Yeah, the minute all the harmonies come in behind the dan 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 dan, it just goosebumps every time. It's that warm, it's the cold air blowing over you in a warm arena kind of moment.
Totally. And looking back at the set, kudos to Trey because it's perfectly placed after the Drowned and in between the gym. or the Axilla and the Gem, because it's just like it's so much rock, so much intense rock, and then you have this gorgeous kind of sort of composed piece in the 2 slot. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, and then the rock and roll of Axilla. We're right back at MSG.
Yeah,
we're like tipping our hat to all the people that are there, like drinking, having a party New Year's, and the outro's cool. And we talked. I'm an Axilla 2, way over Axilla 1 guy.
Yeah.
So the lyrics, like summer sitting out by the pool, all that kind of stuff. Like it was great.
Never knew what my body was for till I leave it laying out on the floor. It's a great lyric.
And I just love when Phish like flexes their rock muscles, and they do it a lot this night. They're just like, we're a fucking rock and roll band. We are the best bar band you've ever seen, playing Madison Square Garden on New Year's Eve. We have come to destroy. And then they'll also play these crazy jams and jazz, classical jazz compositions. But Axilla was a moment, to show off the rock, and it was great. So powerful. Every rock song is so powerful this night. And then, the gym, which again came to thunderous applause. We were excited because I was like, I need to get back out there again. I need to stop rocking and free my mind up a little bit. So, what did you think of this?
The gym. I love it. And
more headphones.
Yeah, I guess like I've heard some critiques of it, or I've read some critiques of it. And I get that when you're just listening to it, if you're a very rhythmic person, one could argue that maybe Trey's not perfectly on the beat. Maybe like it's a little off and it's a little disjointed. But I think to me and to my ears, it's very fishy and in a good way. It's like, it's not soulful, but it is trippy and it's like very polyrhythmic. But what I wanted to say is watching it on video makes me appreciate it even more. There's something about when I'm watching it, it sounds on. Like when I watch it, it doesn't even cross my mind that it's not on. Am I wrong on this? But when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I feel like it could be, I don't know. Maybe I'm off base here.
No, I enjoyed it a lot. I get what you're saying, but I think they're trying to work. This was pre-funk Phish in a lot of ways.
It's churning.
This is where like a big ghost would be here, or like something that they could just lay back into a groove. But there's many drum kit parts. They're trying to find new avenues of sound, and they're doing it in front of 20,000 people on New Year's. And it was brave. I liked it. I liked all the chances. And
I should add. Yeah, I mean, I should add that when they bring it back home and they come into the gym at the end, I mean, like it's incredible. I mean, just the chills. And just the ending when they bring it back home after the jam, I think it's phenomenal. And it is one of the highlights of the show for me, for sure.
Yeah, I like a segue, but I really do like when the band just explores and then finds a gorgeous way to get back to the melody and then tags and finishes the song with a plum, with a real a vigor at the end. It showcases they never lost the theme, they never lost the thread.
Right.
They just really decided to take all these avenues and adventures, trying to find a dog, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, an exclamation point. It's a statement piece.
Yeah, this part of the set was weird in my memory because I remember the Drowned really well and the Lizards really well. I remember the Axilla and I remember the beginning of Runaway Jim, and then I don't remember anything till Mike's song.
Okay.
Like, I think it was where the two doses were converging in a way. I think 2 was like pushing 1 a little and was like, hey, I'm here too to play. And my psyche was trying to balance those 2 things on a pendulum, and it took me a little while. I kind of remember Strange Design being a nice breath, and we talked about this. This was like Phish's single. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
They really worked this hard in 95, like I thought. And in 96, like I thought it was going to be the one. And then Hello My Baby was a nice break after that, but this was all water under the bridge for my brain at this point. It was I was having a hard time focusing. And then the first notes of Mike's happened and I was fine.
Just
what do you think about those choices? The choices through that transition. What do you feel being a listener this time?
The choices between the Mike's transition, like
between Jim and Mike's.
Oh, like between Jim and Mike.
The Strange Design and the Hello My Baby.
Yeah, it's a breather. I mean, I guess I just think it's a breather. But it's nice. Like, I mean, I feel like the Jim was like really intense. And I love Strange Design. I thought it was really pretty. And then again, like Hello My Baby is sort of like a reboot. Maybe if I'm at the show, I'm thinking, well, that was a short set. Are they going to end it with Hello My Baby? So I think maybe they're playing on that
too.
And then just being like, oh, they're going to think we're going to end it. And then we're going to do this crazy Mike song. And so Trey had this idea about how it's going to connect to the third set. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you in terms of the second and the third set. They're just all the way through every song. It's perfect. I have I'm really only here to gush for the most part from this point on.
Yeah. I mean, legit from the first note of the Mics till the last note of the show.
Yeah.
You're hard pressed to find a wrong note.
Yeah. This is what I want to say about the Mics is that I remember when you guys first played this for me, I thought, how could this not be composed? Like, what? This is composed. I know. Like, all the way through to the end. Like, this is not improvised. But I think a beautiful thing that I realized, when you become a deep Phish fan, and I listened to, like, all the Mics in 95, even 94, like, leading up to this. It's like they're taking all these ideas that they've been working on or they've kind of accidentally stumbled upon, and just they're fine-tuning them this whole time. From one Mics to the next, they're kind of slowly fine-tuning them and at the same time trying to find something new, because that's what keeps it exciting. And I feel like this was like one of those culminations. Kind of like we talked about that You Enjoy Myself Frankenstein, You Enjoy Myself from 7/8/94, where it all just kind of came together in this moment, in this Mics, where I really... after having listened to it so many times, I can tell they are improvising, but they're just so locked in, and they are pulling from this wealth of ideas that they have in their brain computers from all these Mics that they've played and kind of taking note of what works. And I think like one of them plays something and the other one's like, last time they played this, I played this and it worked. And it's just like a chain reaction. Something happened and it's unfucking believable. I don't know what to say.
And there are so many really good grooves. Like there's funk parts in this.
Yeah.
Like proto-funk for Phish, but I don't know. Looking at it as a whole, I find New Year's 95 to be so amazing, but also it's a signpost in a career of a band that it was the end of an era.
Right.
They had reached the top of the mountain of Phish. They had started this little band in 87, 86, 7, 8, playing tiny little bars. They had worked their way to this mountain. And I feel like never again will they try to be this band again after this night. And they're one of those bands I feel like they talk about this stuff. Yeah. They talked about it after New Year's 99. I think 96, they took a bunch of time off in 96, the beginning. And they were recording Billy Breathes, which I think is their best record. Arguably their best record, one of their best. Definitely one of their best songwriting records.
Yeah.
They started to change their sound a lot. 96 was a real adventurous year where it tapped into a lot of what this show does, but also they're moving forward into their 97, 98 sound and trying to figure out where to go next. It's a lot of exploring in 96. 95 was finishing an arc. They could have walked off stage this night and said, we're never going to play again, and still would have been the coolest band ever. Like a beautiful career statement piece. And I think, like you say, a culmination kind of song. I think the Mics from this night does culminate their career up to this point.
Right.
Like if you look at it in a broader sense, it's great.
Beyond that.
Yeah, everyone should just go listen to this. Go listen.
Beyond that, with the digital delay loop closer of the Mics, I don't know how there could possibly be a more psychedelic 17 minutes. Like, I really don't know how the brain just didn't ooze out of your ears in joy of just being like, what? Jealous.
What was so cool, too, in that. Jealous. Everyone kind of walked off stage, and Trey was just finishing his little loops and getting it all just right. And then he walked off stage, and everyone's just kind of standing there, and the lights didn't go up for a long time. And you can watch it on the video.
Yeah.
And everyone's just kind of standing there like, what? Like you just got rolled over by a truck, and you're trying to pick yourself up and figure it out. And then sadly, you have to sit through set break. I remember this being a hard set break.
Yeah.
I didn't leave my seat, but I do remember it being a difficult one.
I'm sure. You'd already been there.
Ryan's the brave one. Ryan goes to the bathroom. Ryan gets waters. He can go in the hallways and look at where there's lights and stuff, brighter lights. I am not a brave man that way. I'm all good.
Right.
I take a deep breath and I sit right where I am. I think I was smoking cigarettes too. But I don't even remember that. I was just sitting there.
Yeah. I'm more like you. I want to just be still. It can be a little
Please
much.
Don't move me.
Can be a little much out there.
Please.
This
was a hard set break.
Yeah, I'd like to hear you guys discuss that. So, assuming you made it through, which you did, tell me about the prank. So all of a sudden the lights go down, and then Baby New Year, there's a lot of smoke, some electricity, Tesla coils, I recall. Right?
Well, there's a big, it's a sports arena. So there's a big clock. There's clocks all over, and the clock's counting down to New Year's. This happened at most of the New Year shows I've been to. So you kind of have a countdown clock out in front of you, which is good because at this point, not only did I have a cell phone, I didn't have a watch. I didn't believe in watches I got my first cell phone in my 20s.
Right.
I hated clocks. I still hate clocks. Life is not a clock. What's wrong with you? And I just remember watching it and waiting and watching it and waiting. And then a bunch of fuss started happening. There were people on stage doing a lot of things. And so everyone was paying attention. But there's still, like ants. People are milling about everywhere doing what they have to do. And then the lights did go down. And there were people that we thought were the band. Who knows if they were the band? They were all on stage with Dr. Scrubs on, basically white scrubs, and doing a lot of electricity things. And there were, people would cheer when the big shocks would go up, but it was a rudimentary. I mean, as far as gags go, this was not huge. And then at some point, a giant bassinet begins to raise up. And, there's shocks and electricity and sparks, and this bassinet raises up, and then Fishman stands up with his giant bonnet on as Baby New Year's. and everyone's cheering, and it's stupid. It was cool. I mean, it was referenced earlier in that when they're in the Foreman's Mockingbird, that when they're not on tour, they're controlling time. Right. So this was just a way of threading the theory. As far as New Year's gags go, this was one of the least elaborate.
Right.
And I think it made the show better.
Yeah.
Because it was not about the gag. New Year's 99, not about the gag.
Right.
Like, New Year's 93 was the hot dog that's in the fish tank and stuff. But again, later it was like all about the fucking gag. Yeah. And the show was just a sloppy party.
Right.
I think for this, they wanted like a good, slick, well-orchestrated gag, and they wanted to be the tightest band ever.
Yep.
And so they kind of got it done pretty quick. And then, the balloons drop and Old Lang Syne starts. And then it kicks into Weekapaw, which everyone was kind of expecting, but also not sure.
Right.
And man, this, as good as the Mics is, this Weekapaw might be as pivotal in Phish's career.
Right.
I know it was to Ryan. I mean, I wish Ryan was here to just give an hour-long dissertation about what this Weekapaw did to him. But I mean, the beginning, there were these giant balloons, like huge balloons that were hitting the band, so it was kind of hard for them to fight them off. Like, all the balloons dropped and confetti and shit. And poor band, like, having everything kind of pushes towards the band because everyone's looking that way. So if a balloon's coming at you, you're going to hit it forward. And so they all kind of gravitated towards the band. And I remember them having to pop a bunch of them and fight them a bunch. And then there are these moments where they're weaving Old Lang Syne into the Weekapaw theme. Trey is especially at the beginning.
Right.
And it's fine, and they get through it. But then once the jam in Weekapaw starts, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how is, especially Trey and Fishman, but the whole band, like, the energy and the intensity. This is where, like, I was leaving the planet. It was what I needed post-set break, instantly covered in energy and light and joy. And I remember the people around me, everyone was freaking the fuck out. Like, Weekapaw was a big deal.
It was very long for a Weekapaw at that time, first off.
Yeah.
The energy it's a freight train. There's a part in that jam where I'm like, how many drummers are playing right now? Like,
it's crazy.
It's just so thick, whatever Fishman is doing. And then Trey has that sort of I think we used
breakdown.
We used to compare it, or I remember our friend Matt D he played me the tribute to Jack Johnson when John McLaughlin does a similar sort of constructed descending section towards the end of the first movement in tribute to Jack Johnson. And he was like, this is like the Weekapaw. And I always love that comparison. And I totally think of it every time I listen to it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. But again, it's just like the Mics, where it's like a jam and these themes that have been popping up in different songs and different jams throughout the tour. And we've seen them, and they're kind of like coming to full fruition and to full focus, and to being like, let's take these ideas and make them perfect in this moment. And I can't imagine a more cathartic musical experience at that moment.
Yeah, that was like a little jewel dropped in the middle of the Weekapot where you can hear Trey thinking about it, figuring it out, and kind of toying with it behind. And when he finally hits it exactly rhythmically right, the whole band is just like, you can hear them all settle into their role and just go, oh shit. Like they feel it. And you can watch it on video. You can see the whole band is just like, they stop like moving so much and they get really still because they're like, we unlocked the box. Like we have it now.
Right.
It was amazing.
And it's kind of funny having, like, once you've listened to it, a few times and it's coming, it does take him a really long time to get there.
Yeah.
Like he's really working on it for quite a while, but it makes it a brilliant listen for that reason. And, when we talk about musical conversations, especially if you're watching, this one's a pretty easy one to understand.
Yeah. It's okay that it takes a minute. And, in the moment, you don't even notice. Like that time flies by. In the moment.
Oh, sure.
For a concert goer especially. But
I'm sure you were hoping it was another incredible. 10 minutes long.
Yeah, and I really enjoy how this Weekapot doesn't end.
Right.
It just dissipates in this beautiful way. And maybe in the moment I didn't understand Sea and Sand. And I think when we did the New Year or the Halloween 95 show, I talked a little bit about how part of why I don't get the Who is all the like clothing and the clicks, and it seemed like leather boys and like having to look a certain way and greased hair, and it was just an era I'm not from.
Right.
And I think that there were moments in this Sea and Sand I was very, very emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think there were moments that hit me really painfully, like in the wrong way. And then there were moments that really aggressively touched me because I was standing right next to the woman who I was actively leaving.
Right.
And I mean, she's now my wife, so I can talk about this in many ways, but I loved her then and I love her now. We lived 3,000 miles away. She lived in Burlington. I lived in San Diego, and we were actively moving apart, and I knew it. And I was deep in this emotional song and thinking about the energy of this person standing next to me who was also in an altered state and not wanting to like, it was a big deal. The Sea and Sand still for me is like a hard listen. It was wild.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a big one. And I find it gorgeous and beautiful. It just like makes me want to cry in certain ways,
Yeah. I'm trying, there's a line like in it that has something to do with fashion, right? Did that like, or it's like a scooter.
Yeah, there's scooters, there's fashion, dressing to the letter.
Right, dressing to the letter. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. So you heard that and you're just like, ugh, this is not.
But then there's the come sleep on the beach, keep within my reach. I just want to die with you here. Like, that's my life. Like I lived on the beach and I just wanted someone to like be that close to. And I was with this person I was that close to and didn't think I ever would be again. I mean, I'm lucky to be there now, but it was a lot for me emotionally. So,
and interestingly,
they did it.
And you said that the Weekapot doesn't really have an end, and it just sort of twinkles into. And it's so funny when you say I can hear it in my head. That I can hear just how it happens. Mm-hmm. But it kind of like segues into Sea and Sand. But Sea and Sand has a very complete ending. Like it has a very
and the band.
Yeah,
they let Page go.
Sea and the Sand. Like it's very final. And that kind of closes it off. And then to the You Enjoy Myself.
And like for a man who is about to start crying and feel like maybe his life is a joke.
Yeah.
And falling apart and not emotionally so just a raw nerve at that point. Like dentist drill coming down on it. The first notes of You Enjoy Myself.
Right.
Like, and I one of the best ever.
Yes.
Like perfect.
Right.
This is the jam studio You Enjoy Myself, right?
Yeah, I mean I probably mentioned it on this podcast before, but I think like honestly after having heard all of Phish, I think this performance might be the one to take to heaven or whatever. However you want to call it, vibe, this is the performance. It has everything up to this point. I mean, it doesn't have the 97 shit. It doesn't have the 2000 droney stuff. But up to this point, it has everything that Phish is. And it is goddamned glorious. And it is huge. It is so monstrous. Like, by the time, if you sit and you listen to this You Enjoy Myself with the eyes closed, by the time it's over, you feel like you went to another planet. Like, it's just so, it covers so much terrain. And since we last talked, somebody on fucking Reddit was just like, oh, the 94 You Enjoy Myself from Red Rocks. That's the one, right? And we went through this, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to listen to the 94 Red Rocks Yam again, and then I'm going to listen to the New Year's 95 Yam. And honestly, it's laughable. I don't even know how you compare these two performances. Red Rocks is great. It's got an awesome guitar solo. This You Enjoy Myself from New Year's 95 is a work of art worthy of any of the great composers that have ever lived on this planet. And it even makes it more amazing that half of it is just a conversation and it wasn't even composed. It's amazing.
But it, like you said, it takes all those 93, where there's a lot of 93, You Enjoy Myself have teases and similar things. 94 kind of starts to venture out there, but still kind of does the, Page solo during the trampolines, drops into the guitar solo, Trey build out. This one takes all those ideas and jumbles them all up and creates these multifaceted sections of improvisation where it is full band improvising for so long.
Right.
And everyone's talking and everyone has ideas. It's not one person leading. Like I said, this show was the culmination of the band's abilities at this point, and it's astounding.
Right.
And the fact that this deep into the show, having played this much, they are still reaching the peak of the show.
Yeah.
Like, I believe this to be the peak right here. The Yem, from here, it's still amazing. It's just like, we are just going to pile on how we're fucking rock gods.
Right.
But this was a moment of, like you said, they knew it. And the people around me knew it.
Yeah.
But the band, like that room knew it. It did not go lost on the people there. Like it was.
That's good to hear.
It was wild to be in that environment and to feel the energy that existed in that room. It was really special. And the M was like, everybody was in their highest of the night, their happy place, their wherever they were. That was the culmination. It was something else, man.
Yep.
Whew.
And then just like the plain white lights and the vocal jam. I'm even watching it on your shitty video. Yeah. You're just like, wow.
And that ends and you're like, how the fuck do you top this? Why do you like, and this is one of those sets where you're like, this has been a 2-hour set. God, it's got to be like 3 a.m. What is happening now?
Right.
And then, which, I said earlier, there were a lot of Phish songs I didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew Sanity because of
Junta, right?
Junta.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I knew Sanity.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever heard a live Sanity at this point. I had no idea what to expect. And oh my God, this is still the Sanity for me.
Yeah.
Boom, pow.
Yeah.
The stars in the sky are very bright. The stars in the sky are very bright. The stars, they really suck tonight. The stars in the sky are very bright. And I don't care if the world explodes. I don't care if the world explodes. You can save the whales, you can save the toads. But I don't care if the world
And, I feel like I've played this Yem Sanity back to back so many times that I can't extract the two from each other.
Right.
Like they're perfect together.
Oh, they are. Yeah. Yeah, it's the perfect follow-up.
Yeah, I wonder if it was an audible call or if it was that Trey wrote this set list this way because, like I said, this second set is it's the perfect set.
Right.
Like to showcase 95 Phish, it couldn't be better. And I don't know if it was audible. I can't tell. Was it going to go Yem Frankenstein? That seems a little weird.
Right. Yeah,
so,
a little comic relief is nice. Which is
but also rock, just majesty, the power of the band and the dynamics of like huge and then
right.
Like,
oh yeah. Oh. But like Sanity, the way they're playing is perfection. And like you can like just follow. Yeah, they're showing up, but you follow just the music, and it's like pretty incredible. It feels a little bit like you're on a ride, because there was so much space and they were playing so beautifully with space. But at the same time, in this part of Phish's career, I do feel like humor is like a consideration. It does feel like they're kind of like, we're gonna do this fucking serious shit, that we need to do something a little funny right here, and we do something pretty right here. And I do think
this was humor I needed. Like I was over that hill.
This was
my brain
humor.
Needed to get tickled a little rather than just be pounded on.
And after they've been to Madison Square Garden, they know what a shit show it is to get there and to go through all of it and to be in an exciting New Year. They've always been that band that has been like, I know what it's like to be an audience member, and I'm going to make my band to make the experience for the audience great. And that's one of the reasons why we love them so much. And I mean, I think they know. They knew you guys needed that. They knew what you guys had been through in the past 5 hours, and you needed to be reminded of the concept of sanity. And, I just think it's great.
And humor. We all had to laugh. And for what I was about to experience, I needed this as a little blanket to wrap around myself to manage the insanity of the world. And then to follow it with Frankenstein. Like, I think I talk about the 6/18/94 or Frankenstein all the time because that one's so cool that it's dropped in the M. But this one is massive.
It is.
Like Madison Square Garden Frankenstein, just to perfection. And to walk off stage after it was just bold. I don't know. Everyone was left floored. Like, you felt it. You felt after the Frankenstein. I've been to a lot of shows where, like, myself included, I know they're coming out for an encore. I'm doing one of the, hey guys, nice job, woohoo, way to go, we're really proud of you. This was one of those where people were freaking the fuck out. The place was shaking. Like it was exciting. I mean, when we just saw Phish in Vegas, I really enjoyed the second set, but I wasn't cheering for the encore. But when the first set ended, I was freaking out. I was cheering loudly because I thought the first set was superior to the second in a lot of ways. And I was showing my appreciation in an aggressive way. This was one of those nights where the entire room was just like, holy shit. You felt it. I was picking my face up off the floor.
I bet.
I still remember one of the guys in front of us was like grabbing me going, yeah, man. And I'm like, okay, I'm excited, but I'm also like, I'm a little emotional.
Plus the fan base was young. The fan base was young back then.
Everybody was young. Yeah. It was all like teens and 20s.
It was like Goose or something. I know you're probably not even familiar. Ian just made a bad joke. Apologies. I was going to say, in terms of huge Frankensteins at MSG, this is a wonderful version. I'm not even going to say that this other version's better. But 12/30/97, it's pretty great. And it is funny because it has such a massive Space Jam in the middle that you kind of think they're not coming back. But if you haven't heard it, put it on a loud stereo, crank up your bass. You're going to have a great time.
Well, I think that's the only show that rivals this one for best Madison Square Garden show. I really do. I mean, kudos. I'm not going to always drop the 3.0 Phish, but kudos to the fucking Baker's Dozen. This band. Jesus. But as far as like 1.0 Madison Square Garden 12/30/97 is equivalent to this in many ways.
I would just say it's not as tight. Like, I mean, there could be more editing done on 12/30/97.
Sure.
Not a ton of editing I could do here.
No, and that's why like this encore, part of me is like, I don't know. And part of me just thinks, yeah, it's perfect. You couldn't do better. Right? Like I just rock and roll. Like and Fishman, like it just shows off. It seems like the band that went out back, they all gave each other a hug and were like, guys, we did it. And they took a shot and they came out and just ripped fucking Johnny Be Good. Like it was a different energy than the space I was currently in, but I think it made a lot of sense for the show and the band, and I still listen to it, and it's rock and roll. It's great.
Had they have played Slave, you might have gone deeper into the ether. And so Betray is like, Sam's going to have to be out on the subway in a few minutes. I think we're going to need to, if I can get some electric shockers on him and hit him with the little Johnny B. Fishman.
It was a long time until we made it to a subway. But yes, we eventually did find a moving vehicle that wasn't our feet. Yeah. So the show ends.
Yep.
I'll be brief about this too, but I could write a book. Maybe I'll do a 33 1/3 on just this night one day. Someone's got to ask me to for like $6 and I'll do it. Maybe $7. So we eventually get out of our seats in Madison Square Garden because we're up high. It's a lot of getting down. You're just, what's that called? Serpentining, backing down, cutbacks and cutbacks and cutbacks. And we're getting down. We finally get to ground level and we are all three out of our heads. I would like to say my wife was slightly less out of her head, but we had no idea what we were doing. And the energy we felt when we got down there, we could have just gone down to Penn Station and gotten a train to Stamford. But I don't think any of us could navigate trains or subways at that point. We had no idea what we were doing. So we walked out to the street.
Yeah.
Which you can go back into Penn Station, but it's like cattle, you're just side to side with people. We walk out in the street. There's people leaning out of limo roofs, screaming Happy New Year's. There's very scantily dressed people. You are suddenly not at a Phish show anymore. You are in New York City at like 1 in the morning on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And we just started walking because we were so scared. We didn't know what direction. We just started walking. And we're walking and we're walking. And then suddenly there's no more Phish fans.
Uh-huh.
And there's very few people. And we're just in New York City. And we reached this park. And I remember there were lots of cops on horseback. It's probably 2 of them, but it felt like a dozen.
Right.
Just sitting there in this park. And we walked by them just kind of nodding, officer. And scared, terrified. And we just kept going and going. And with no cell phones, no idea what fucking way we were going. And now knowing New York City and knowing Penn Station to Grand Central, how far that is, we walked to Grand Central Station.
Yeah.
We at some point saw a building and we said, it looks like there's a train station in there. And we just it felt like forever. We walked and walked and walked and walked and found Grand Central Station in New York City.
Wow.
So it felt like there was a gravity bringing us there.
Yeah.
And once you're in Grand Central, you're like, it's way too bright.
Yeah.
And it's 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning. But we're like, okay, this is beautiful. It's ornate. We can read the signs. We are going to find our way to Stamford, fucking Connecticut.
Right.
And we found a train to Stamford. And it was it was not the fast train. It was the slow train. It was the local, not the commuter. So there were going to be a lot of stops. But we didn't know.
Yeah.
So we got on the train. And again, keeping this short, my memories are there was a kid that was definitely at the show who was yelling that anyone who wanted to lick his dreads to get high could pay him $1 or pay him some funds to lick his dreads.
Yeah.
Lick my dreads. And they were blonde dreads is what I remember. I think he had a red sweater on. And then there was a man who was very aggressively groping a woman in the back. And he was openly smoking crack because it was a little glass pipe and he was smoking it and it smelled like nothing I'd ever smelled in my life. It could have been meth. I think it was crack. And it was there were no police. There was no security. It was the 3 of us just sat there with our heads down as much as we could, hoping to just not die between there and Stamford. Everything was bright. Everything was fluorescent. Everything was just, we had this, it was the Bataan Death March from New York to Stamford, Connecticut. And I remember we got off the train at Stamford, got into Emily's car, which was, we only had to drive a few blocks. Like it was up and around this way. Yeah. We had, sex workers like, hey, honey, you need a date for people were waving. Stamford was, when we got there, it was like an industrial kind of shithole. When we arrived early in the morning, it was much scarier and much more seedy. And we got back to our hotel room. We parked. We went up. We laid down. And it was like, holy shit.
Right.
But we're all wide awake. We're wired. So we washed our faces and laid down in bed. I think all 3 of us were in the bed laying down and turned the TV on. And all I remember, and this is where Ryan and I would get the laugh, is we saw this commercial about lupus.
Uh-huh.
And it was, do you have lupus? Do you know a friend who has lupus? And it was this, there's these little things that stick in your mind.
Right.
And then right around when the sun came up, there was a slamming on the door, like a knock, 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 knock. And we went up to the door and there was a sort of aggressive gentleman. And he's like, you guys got to go. You got to get out now. We're like, what do you mean? We paid for a room. He's like, no, we got rumors. Everyone in here is sleeping too many to a room. How many? There's 3 of you. This is a room for 2. You got to get out right now. And it was like 4 or 5 in the morning and the sun was just coming up and threw us out of the room. So we grabbed all our stuff pretty quickly and we just left and got in the car and started driving north.
Wow.
And we drove and drove, it's like 5.5 hours. And we drove and Emily dropped Brian and I off at my house. And I just remember we went the fuck to sleep. And he ended up flying home a few days later and her and I still saw each other a few times that break. But it was it felt like Johnny Be Good ended and it was like 6 days till I got to my parents' house.
I can imagine.
And I never slept.
Yeah.
I was so strung out.
And what did you eat? You didn't...
I never remember eating anything. Never remember eating a thing once. We might have had a piece of... This is Michael Scott moment. We might have had a piece of like true New York City pizza at Sbarro's across the street from MSG.
Okay.
Maybe.
Right.
That might have been 98 when Ryan and I did that. But yeah, it all blends together. I don't ever remember eating once.
That is the funniest part of the story to me.
I was skinny as shit then, and I never ate. And I just I used to go like a day and be like, oh, I'm fine. I'll just have a cup of coffee and I'll be fine.
No longer.
Oh, I don't eat right for a few hours. I'm shaking so hard I feel like I'm going to die.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah.
Well, Sam.
It was a rough exit.
Again, if you would have died, not a bad way to go out. That was a high. You would have gone out on a high.
I would have been okay. Yeah. I would have missed my kids, but I would have been okay.
True. I take it back. That was too dark. Well, Sam, I think we should...
not too dark.
Take a little break here. That was, I think, perhaps our best episode.
We were going to do a best of this episode. We're going to try and squeeze something in, like the top 5 New Year's shows, but basically it's a battle between top 1. I mean, we know what the other ones are. They're fine. So is it Cypress or is it this? And
for number 1?
I don't know. Yeah,
we can discuss that after Cypress. I mean, I don't feel a need to make a number 1. I'm just that guy.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of the tie, so I'm gonna be voting for a tie situation.
Yeah, I had a better time this night, personally.
Yep.
But in re-listen, I think what we need is an official Cypress. And I would like to spend a week. I would like to go to a nice tropical location, spend a week just casually listening to a few songs a day, 6 or 8 songs a day of Cypress, gently in a beautiful, nice, like in this backdrop I've put up for you tonight. Like breeze, tropics. And I think then Cypress could reach this level. Yeah.
It's all about context.
It's a different beast.
Yeah. And yeah, you're going to have some stories from Cypress too. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, there was... Yeah, there were some ups and downs. But this night, I mean, come on. If you're, like we said earlier, if you're listening to this podcast, you've listened to this show, I hope that what we said makes you want to listen to it again. I hope at very least you go listen to, maybe just the mics through the end of the show. Just do that for yourself. It's like an hour. It's a quick set, but do it. Do it.
Well said, Sam.
Do it.
And as always, I always like to give a shout out to Kevin Shapiro, our hero, and throw a thanks for the new live bait. I love it. I really love this new collection. You're getting better with age. Keep it up.
Yeah, Kev, there's a few shows we'd really like. Alpine 97. The audience recordings are pretty good. I get it.
I was really pining for that taste. I had thought about texting him about that taste before, and then he went and released it, and it did it.
That show, it's up there on my list. It's pretty high on my list of shows I've seen.
Yeah, and let's get that Alpine
97. Then I could tell my Alpine story that night. Yeah. Where we got completely lost trying to find the car, and we were out on a fucking golf course in the middle of Wisconsin, not knowing what we were doing.
And if you need some artwork,
completely lost.
We got some artwork for you too.
Yeah,
for the release.
Kev.
All right.
I mean, we got the Arco, Kev, so I'd like that one next.
You fed the stray cats.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ian. Like I said, we have some friends that were there, and if we can get them wrangled into doing some recording, we'll try and cut some of that into this and do some more storytelling because it was a special night.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy goddamn New Year.
All right.
Hello there, friends, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to reach out to Ian and I about anything at all, you can find us at companion2thecompanion@gmail.com.